How's it different financing a car that's like $1 million+ rather than a car that you could just go out to like a Toyota dealership and buy for like 30 grand?
Yeah. So most of the cars in here I own outright, except for the Koenigsegg and the Countach. So the Countach is financed with a traditional loan. The Koenigsegg is a lease. And then I had a Bugatti Veyron back in the day. And I guess I'll start with the Veyron. So the Veyron was $880,000. That's what I paid for it. And I put down $580,000. So I, financed 300 grand. And I did that through a local credit union, the same credit union that did the Gallardo, did my Aventador back in the day. And it was the biggest car loan they had ever done. But because they had kind of taken the steps with me along the way, it was pretty easy actually. And I was putting so much money down. You're putting $580,000 down on a car. If I default on that loan, they get the car. They have a $300,000 note they got to pay off with a Bugatti. Like the risk level was very low there.
Even salvage.
Even salvage, right. Even
that.
salvage. So that loan was actually really, really easy. And then the Countach, I put half down. Once again, that was so easy. I didn't even have to submit hardly any documentation, partly because once again, same bank. I'd been banking with them since I was 10 years old. My parents opened up an account with them and I'd done the Veyron. They'd seen my credit, whatnot. The Koenigsegg is a lease. So a little bit different on that. Obviously the leasing company holds the title. So I guess if you're looking at it black and white, I don't own this car, right? I'm just effectively renting it. But the lease is interesting because every month I make a payment, it reduces my payoff amount. And the payoff amount means that I can purchase this car outright someday. And every single month I make that payment, that payoff gets less and less and less, and I get closer and closer to ownership. But in 3.5 years, I will reach the end of that lease. I can either walk away from the car or I can choose to pay off the car and keep it. And the payoff amount I want to say is like 800 grand or so.
At the end of the term.
At the end of the term of the lease.
So you're going to probably...
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the car is worth around $3 million. So at the end of the lease, if I was to walk away from it, the leasing company would win the... I'm losing 2.2 million. So even if I wanted to get rid of the car, I would find a way to pay it off and then sell it, right?
So driving a $3 million car, how does that feel if you're like behind a semi truck or if you're like, on a road with some potholes? Are you so frightened?
It's the worst part about owning the car. And I actually didn't realize how little I would drive the car because of that fear. I've realized like my favorite car to drive is this Aventador because it's 90% of the Koenigsegg. But if somebody hits this car, I'm totally fine. I can get the car repaired. Financially, I'm not in any weird predicament, but the Koenigsegg is effectively a hand-built car out of Sweden. There's 58 of them in the world. The car is priceless. And if I was to get in an accident, I have to ship this car back to the Koenigsegg factory. They could repair it for, who knows how much money. And the car is going to be out of commission for years, probably. I mean, it's kind of a very scary prospect because you're sitting at a red light and you're looking in the rearview mirror like, I hope this car doesn't rear end me.
What is insurance like in a car like this?
It's not as bad as I was expecting. So I have it insured for $3 million and it's about $1,200 a month, which isn't bad.
That's not terrible.
No. And it really helps that I live in Utah. So if I lived in Las Vegas, I wouldn't... double, triple. If I lived in LA, double, triple. I think there's a lot of factors for that, but living in Utah helps. There's fewer drivers on the road. There's more percentage of the drivers in Utah are insured that are on the road because that's a big problem in a lot of states is uninsured drivers. And then obviously I have no accidents on my record. I have the multi-vehicle discount because I have 17 cars. They know I can't drive all 17 at the same time. And so that helps a lot too.